What is up, everyone? How y'all doing? My name is Arif, and this is your Daily Chat Season 6, Episode 6, actually, now that I think about it, for February the 1st, 2021. We're already a month down, 11 more months to go. Let's hope to any kind of deity at this stage that we can get some semblance of normality by the time summer rolls back around. Let's just hope, but don't hold your breath. Well, there's no way that we can't not talk about what's been happening over the last week. And the thing I'm not going to cover is how the whole short selling thing works. Everybody else and their mom has covered how this works from people smarter than them. And the long and short that you just need to know is hedge funds bet that GameStop would fail. Reddit caught wind. Reddit made sure it didn't fail. And now the hedge funds are on the hook for billions and billions of dollars. That is the very long and short of it. But Melvin Capital, the company that was the one who really kind of people saw, and they saw who was investing in all this, and they had the biggest stake in this game. Well, they've sustained a 53% loss since Reddit really began buying up the GameStop stock. And yeah, it looks like they're positioned, even after a cash injection from Point72, who's another hedge fund. They're scheduled to take a loss in a really hefty one, even as of the time of this recording. Mind you, I'm recording this at 10:30 in the evening. Looking at the market closed today at $225 US. The market opened at somewhere around the 240 mark. No, sorry, the market opened around 314 this morning and closed around 225. And that was not the actual people on Reddit who bought the stock selling off. That was some of them, but it wasn't all of them. These were the hedge funds trying to cover their losses through the sells. But as long as the people keep holding the stock and the stock remains at the high positive, these companies are still going to be on the hook. So take your pictures now, folks, because Melvin Capital might not be here next month at the rate that they're scheduled to lose. And we are seeing some analysts say that, well, the price might get to $1,000 a share. If it does, that's the end of Melvin Capital. There's no shot, because they were hedging at around what, $3, I believe, was where the stock was. Let's check. 6 months ago, GameStop stock was trading at $5.11 per share. Melvin would have hedged, the short probably at something like $3 a share. So they would have pocketed $2 per share, called it a day. Well, if the stock, even say right now, stays at $225 a share, and they shorted it at $5, they're on the hook for the 220. They have to cover that 220 per share loss. Meaning, yeah, it is going to absolutely rip them up. Because look, while you have billions and billions of dollars, that still is not an infinite amount of money. You do eventually have a bottom of that well. That well is just 10 miles deep. But you will hit it at that kind of rate. We are just going to wait and see. But AMC, BlackBerry, GameStop, Nokia, we are seeing all these companies who were shorted by massive, massive volumes just absolutely getting their stock pushed to the moon because, well, Wall Street Bets has said that this is enough, and you cannot short a stock like GameStop 120%, 140%. That's just not allowed. So, just once again, take your pictures now because they might not be here next week. And our next story, this is actually really cool. Alphabet, who is the parent company of Google, is actually going to disclose how much Google Cloud makes. Now, you might be wondering, why is this important? When you have companies this large and they're providing so many different services, to understand how good and how financially stable all these companies are, you want to know how much money each of the individual business units is bringing in. YouTube, we know, brings in billions of dollars. About last time I saw it, it was like 4 billion. I know it's got to be much higher than that now. But YouTube brings in billions, and then you have, the other Google products like Gmail Pro or G Suite that brings in billions. So it's good to know all these things. And cloud infrastructure, cloud usage, and cloud demand has really exploded since COVID-19. Because everybody moved to a cloud system, AWS saw a huge uptick in people, Azure saw a huge uptick in people, and of course Google saw a huge uptick in people because it's Google. Well, some analysts are thinking that this might only have about 2% operating margin. And if you don't know what an operating margin is, that is the amount of profit you're making after you've paid your variable costs, like your electricity and all that stuff, after you've paid your variable costs, but before you've paid your interest and taxes. So on any of your loans or anything like that. So it's not your net, it's basically your gross profit. In a way to look at it, it's your gross profit. Well, at 2%, that's not super good. We have Amazon showing that they were, well above 30%, and 2%. Well, that's just what the analysts are saying. We will know more tomorrow when Google announces when Google openly discloses how much Google Cloud is making. I'm personally very interested to see it, just because it gives us a better scope and understanding of how much of the cloud infrastructure has been adopted by each of the individual companies since COVID-19 occurred. Because with so many different companies, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, even Cisco has a cloud. No one uses it, to my knowledge, but Cisco has a cloud. It's just good to know who's using what and how much money are each of these business units bringing in. But sticking with the Google news, Google Stadia is shutting down game development. They're not shutting down Google Stadia, as much as all of us would have liked to have bet that. They're not shutting down Google Stadia. They're shutting down Google Stadia game development. And the VP Phil Harrison has said that due to the enormous amount of production time and the enormous costs involved in making a video game, they're not going to be seeking any more first-party exclusive made content because it's just not financially viable. That's really what's happening here. They just don't have the hundreds of millions of dollars. Well, they do, but they don't, if that makes sense. Like, you gotta remember, Google has the money, but they're not gonna throw $300 million at a video game that sells like 8 copies. There's just no shot. So they're gonna shut that down. Basically, they will contract out, or they will work with third-party developers and just have them they'll just license the games to Stadia, and that will be that. Pretty much Apple Arcade, Google, or Apple Arcade, Xbox One Pass, whatever it's called. They'll just do that whole world. They'll just get the license and put it on, call it good. That's the best way to do it. No one is shocked by this. No one should be shocked by this. The only thing that's shocking about this story is the fact that Google is not shutting down Stadia, as much as we all thought that would be the case. And our final story, Xbox Series X says the Series X will be short until at least June, if not July. And this is due to a number of things: the global supply chain being disrupted and the shortage of, semiconductors and microprocessors, which you need to build these systems. You got to remember, AMD is the one licensed to supply the chips for both Xbox and PlayStation, but they're partnered with TSMC, Taiwanese semiconductor manufacturing company, who produces all this stuff, and they're licensed out with AMD and Apple. And because they have the 7 nanometer node processing system, like, all kind of down, they're at max capacity. They are absolutely ramped up to about as high as they're willing to go. And as such, we have a shortage of stuff and a limitation of speed. So you're looking at around June. And AMD did try and press TSMC to, ramp up a little bit more production. TSMC has said no, and as a result, this is kind of a side story, AMD is now looking to partner with Samsung to kind of make more chips. And this is not a huge departure from what AMD is already doing, because AMD is already working with Samsung to supply the GPU unit on the next mobile chip for Samsung. So they already have an established relationship. So this will just be the next evolutionary step in that whole business process. But guys, there you have it. That is your daily chat for season 6, episode 6. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do, please do like, comment, share, and especially hit that subscribe button so you know when new episodes come out. I have been Arif. This has been Daily Chat, and I'll see all of you on the next video.